Okay, just in time for summer. I have the perfect summer boot. I mean, don't you get cold? There's air conditioners, and it's warm outside, but it's still so cold. Yeah, anyway, these are not for the summer. They're winter shoes, boots, slippers. What are these? These are Yukatens. This is sheepskin. This is Horween Chrome XL, like a pebbled brown Chrome XL. Look how freaking thick these are. Look at that. These are made by Yuketen in Maine. A wild looking, like you could argue monster. If you were like, these are the ugliest things I've ever seen, I'd be like, that's okay. I could take it. I kind of agree, but they're also so cool. Really wide, flat welt. I forget what this Vibram. It's not the Ripple sole, but one of my. I like this. I'm not a wedge sole person, but these are very cool. These are just lighter than your Christie, which is perfect for this, and freaking sheepskin galore. So yeah, when you're wearing these, you're walking on clouds. They're so cozy. This is ridiculous. This ring boot thing is crazy. It's necessary, but it's kind of an overkill. This is like, I would say this is only for someone who loves leather, who loves footwear, who just wants to wear something kind of cool and wild looking. I bought these from Standard and Strange. And I don't know if they still carry Yucatens. I hope they do. I love Yucatan so much. Just such a creative. To me, they're like the most. We talked about it in another video, but they make like the most creative and artistic and kind of almost like street fashion forward thing, but while still maintaining all and more of the heritage approach to boot making and shoe making. So they kind of go crazy with their outward appearances. They're a little bit more wild, a little bit, they take some more chances, but internally they're made better than any other boot. And that's very rare. Usually you have stuff that looks very cool on the outside, like a Sebago or whatever, or, I don't know, way more fashion forward stuff that I'm not aware of. But, the internals are just garbage and they just, they sell it to you for a bunch of money because they're cool. Yucatan, you're paying for the design, but you're very much also paying for the craftsmanship. Now, this is like kind of very close to a quaddy ring boot. And those are very cool too. I had a pair of Chrome Pack quaddy ring boots that were just like, they were kind of too heavy and too much. You're just wearing, you're wearing this like thick piece of hide. But here you're really cushioned. Look at that pinking, just so beautiful. And then just yeah, very unique pair of just very unique craftsmanship. This is a thinner leather than this, obviously, and that's the shading difference. It's a much darker, but look at these rivets. Yeah, these are just wild, and they're so they're ridiculous to wear. Like I've worn these, you could see, and that's the issue with sheepskin is you're gonna already kind of now this was shaved down so that they could get the stitching, but like it's gonna slowly wear away, and sheepskin isn't the most robust. It just isn't. When we'll actually punch a hole in these, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have a good time. Look at that. That's crazy. These are just insane looking. Like I kind of now I just like I have them around the house and I'll wear them to take out the trash, and I've worn them to the grocery, but they're kind of crazy. I got them. I got them as like almost as a goof of like this is too far, but we're all in. We love footwear. We love craftsmanship. We love leather and sheepskin and things all things natural. Made the way of old, as Dale of Dale's Leatherworks would say. But this is too far. It's just too far. It's so crazy. But they're really fun, and I love the hand stitched moccasin with this old wax thread. This is a very, very just old fashioned way of making boots, and this is just your classic thick waxed cotton thread. And this is a genuine moccasin construction. So this, it's the same piece of sheepskin that goes under, and then it's coddled by this piece of cowhide. So, and then you're sitting on, I'm not sure what the internal is, I think it's cork, and then this leather welt. So you're sitting on sheepskin, on cowhide, on cork. I believe it's cork. But yeah, just so cool. And you could argue, these are reinforced in all the right ways. This is where it would, all the parts that need to be cowhide are cowhide. But that being, I mean, the toe bump and stuff. But if you wear these like crazy, I mean, they're gonna start. I could see this kind of just giving way, and they wear like my feet are very wide, but I actually have narrow. I'm a C width feet, C width foot. Um, but just like I mean, they're kind of coming out of. You got sheepskin coming out of your ears with these. That's what's happening. But so fun, and I should do a video on. There's some really cool sheepskin boots out there. Yeah. I know Rosanville made a sneaker with sheepskin, which those are very fun with Gorl over in England. Chrome XL outer and or Chrome XL, like kind of yeah, reinforcing where the sheepskin is quite weak. But I have a really crazy pair of George Cleverly boots that are by far my favorite boots I own. But excuse me, I haven't covered those yet. There's just a lot, when when like you love something so much, it's almost like hard to like encompass why, or I don't know. But I'll do this soon. I have a few pair of George Cleverly boots, which are so weird because they're like a British dress shoe maker, but then they also make like really cool, robust outdoor boots. Anyway, but they're also crazy expensive. More on those later. But yeah, Yucaten, so fun, so crazy. Just these are crazy looking. That's it. That's all I could say. These are absolutely crazy looking. I mean, look at that. Just absolutely wild. Like, what in the UGG are these? These are if Uggs like ruled, if Uggs were so cool. But also, I can't. I should make this even more clear. Like these aren't the most comfortable. They're really comfortable to wear, but this is crazy. This is nuts. This is traditional, but it is nuts. It's like pulling this through just to get it tight enough, and it kind of slips, and it's a little crazy. So if someone goes, actually, I'd rather a pair of Uggs. I'm like, all right, I get it. But yeah, there's something I just love about because this is really the suede, right? Because that's the flesh out side of the sheepskin, right? Does that make sense? That's the outside, but the hair is left on. So this is the internal suede, but then they wax it down to kind of give it this look. So you'll see that on sheepskin bomber jackets and stuff, and it's like any other suede, like a sheepskin suede. It's quite weak. That's why every time you see a vintage bomber, sheepskin bomber jacket, you're gonna the B3 or whatever. There's holes, there's certainly, and they're always reinforced with cowhide on the edges. And that's also like if you're into leather jackets, they're like having like a single back piece of hide is like, usually a sign of a better made leather jacket. That is not the case though with sheepskin. Sheepskin, you actually want the reinforcement, with a few exceptions. Anyway, I think we rambled enough. These Yucatens are nuts. What are they? Slippers, boots, shoes? I don't really know, but they're really fun to have. They're fun to wear. They're a little crazy. And yeah, we've gone too far. This is too far. We got to reel it in. This is an intervention. All right. Have a lovely day. Thanks for watching.